Data is an ever-growing industry with promising career prospects, so it's not surprising that many people want to try and get into it. But how do you know whether it's the right career path for you? That's what we will be discussing in this video. How to know whether working in data is right for you. So who can get into data? If there's one thing to take away from this video, it's that anyone can get into data, regardless of your background, whether you've just come out of education or are switching careers. Of course, having a STEM background, for example, maths or computer science, will be great preparation, but it's very likely that in whatever course or walk of life you've been in, you'll have transferable skills that will aid in some careers in data. Here at Pinnu, we have team members of varying backgrounds. For example, one of our team members started out as a history graduate and within 2 years has become a mid-level analytics engineer. If you're looking for more inspiration, there are countlessly many stories out there of different people with different backgrounds who've made a career in data. All in all, if you're well versed in some of the skills I mentioned in my previous video, for example, problem solving, having attention to detail, and just in general having an interest in data, then you may have a future in data. So if you have determined that data is the right industry for you, it can be helpful to then consider your motivations for getting into the field. So what are your motivations? Of course, one of the biggest motivations for getting into data is money. Data roles are usually accompanied with very high and competitive salaries. The average salary for a data analyst in the UK is 35k, with senior data analysts getting an average of 55k. Of course, money is super important. We need it to survive, we need it to thrive in life. But what happens if you don't get that raise? Or what happens if you find out you're being underpaid? Or you get that role that isn't quite paid as highly as others? Like, do you have enough motivations outside of money to continue to thrive in the career? That's something you just need to ask yourself. While a competitive salary can be really attractive, it's important to look beyond the numbers and really think about whether the industry is right for you and whether you could be in it for the long haul. Due to the nature of the industry, a role in data offers significant security. The demand for people with specialist skills in data is only increasing. As of last year, 48% of businesses in the UK were actively recruiting for roles in data. This isn't likely to change in the coming years. Even with the advancement of artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques, the demand and need for skilled people in data who truly understand the concepts around it is only ever going to grow. Analytics can play a crucial role in how a business operates, impacting data decisions and the direction of a business. A role in data can give you the opportunity to make a huge impact. And because data is literally everywhere, there is no limitation to where this can be applied. It can be applied everywhere from healthcare to entertainment. The amount of data is growing extensively year on year. At this point in time, we already have amassed so much data that we have the equivalent of every word ever spoken by man for all of history. Data will be around for the long run. We're only getting more and more data. So it's an industry and a career that will always be in high demand. An underappreciated motivation for working in data is the idea that working in data is an investment in yourself and your skills. When you get to a point in your career, when you're considered to be a highly skilled worker, it can open you up to so many more opportunities. For example, being able to work abroad. Lastly, another really common motivation for getting into data that isn't really openly spoken about is status. Of course, it's widely accepted that having a role in data is quite a prestigious achievement. It's important to not have that be your only motivator for getting into data. Similar to money, if there's ever a point in your career where you're not progressing as quickly as you would like, if status is one of your main motivators, you may find yourself being very quickly demotivated if you aren't getting the respect you feel you desire. Remember that this is your career, so you have to play the long game. Yes, aim to get those promotions when the time is right, but it's important to note that it's unlikely you will get promoted before you have demonstrated the skills required for that next position. And if somehow you do, you may find yourself being very quickly overwhelmed. So all in all, status is a very reasonable motivator to have. We all have it, but don't let it be your main driver. Hopefully you've now considered your motivations. So now let's take the steps to figure out whether data is right for you. At the end of the day, you most likely want a career that leaves you feeling content. This exercise will help you look beyond the external rewards and look internally into what actually drives you and motivates you to want a career in data. Something I like to do and encourage everyone around me to do is to write a list of your current skill sets, just everything you feel like you have any level of experience in, whether it's beginner or expert experience. Alongside this, also write a list of your wants, things that you want to gain from your future job, ways in which you want to grow, skills you want to learn. Finally, when you start looking at job descriptions, cross-reference the lists that you've made to what the job description is saying. Ensure that, as well as comparing the skill sets you have to the skill sets they need, you're also looking at what they're saying you'll learn and what you want to learn to make sure that the role you're looking at is right for you. For example, if I think about when I first started out and what my list looked like, in the column of what skills I have and what I'm offering to the company, I had Python experience for 6 months, so fairly beginner, but had an interest in it. I had SQL experience of about a month because I was just self-teaching it. And I had a maths degree. Those are the main things I was bringing to the table. Of course, I also put their soft skills like problem solving, attention to detail, and the enjoyment of having to like scope out and explain work. In the column about skills that I want to learn, I had Python, because again, Python was very important for me to grow on. I had SQL, I wanted to become an expert in SQL. And I had data analysis. I wanted to be able to get to a point where I could analyze sets of data and provide meaningful insights. So when I started looking at job descriptions, those are the things I looked out for. I pulled out key things around data analysis, around problem solving, around SQL, and around Python. And that helped me filter out all the different jobs on the market and realize that I wanted to be a data scientist. Okay, so you've figured out that data is right for you. You've taken stock of your skill sets and what you're looking for in your next role. So what next? Well, there are many things that you can do. You can choose to start applying to positions, aiming to learn on the job and upskill as you go. Or after writing your list, you may have realized that you want to improve the skill sets you're offering first. If that's the case, you can start looking at boot camps, online courses, or self-taught programs to upskill in the areas you want to improve in. Regardless of what you choose, just know that you're never expected to know it all, and it's honestly safe to enter the industry at any point. It can be quite daunting being self-taught or seeing gaps between what you're offering and what a job description asks for. But just know that no one's expected to have every single box ticked on every single job description. It's up to the interviewer to filter out whether you are right for the role or not, so do not limit yourself before that point. With all that being said, what's great about the data industry right now is that it is very accessible and it's open to people of all skill sets. Companies are learning that if your team is more diverse, there will be better opportunities for richer conversations and insights. In this video, I covered some questions and exercises that might be useful when considering a career in data. I've also included some descriptions down below that might be useful to you. Thanks for watching and see you next time.